accordance with the time-honoured imitation flattery model. Greg shouted, "No need to make so much noise, boys!" Max had the grace to look sheepish, but maybe Alex, and maybe Caleb, paid no attention. Their parents had vanished into the darkening winter afternoon. "Did you invite them in?" I interrogated Greg. "Did you tell them there was a buffet for parents upstairs?" "No, they were gone before I had a chance to say anything." I stuck my head into the TV den to check on Magical Steve. He'd taken off his coat and was putting on a waistcoat, sparkly gold stars on shiny red fabric. There were large sweat stains on the armpits of his white shirt. I was about to offer him a drink when I heard a loud crash that sounded as if it had come from Max's bedroom. 2 children's coats lay on the hall floor. I picked them up and threw them at Greg. "Take these to the coat room. I'll go and persuade the boys to calm down." My voice, I noticed, had taken on a desperate tone, the kind you hear in submarine disaster movies, when the protagonists realise that water is pouring into the cabin. The doorbell rang again. "And while we're doing those things, who's going to answer the door?" asked Greg. "This is going to be a—" "Stop prophesying doom!" I cut him off before he could say nightmare. "Answer the door, then take the coats." I was still kidding myself that we were in control, a pretence which, 10 minutes later, I was forced to abandon. By 4:45, everybody had arrived. The noise was unbearable. The house shook hard as 25 children ran up and down 3 staircases. Coats were strewn everywhere, as were crisps and sandwich contents. There had evidently been a raid on the party tea before it had been declared officially open. I had no idea how many parents, if any, were in the lounge helping themselves to wine. Every time I tried to go up there and have a look, I was sidetracked by one or other of the children I hardly recognised, grabbing me and wailing, "The boys tried to throw me off the bunk bed! Oh, Dominic bit me!" Who was Dominic? Was he the one with ADHD? Most of the party guests I'd encountered so far seemed to have ADHD or some other equally worrying condition. I ran from floor to floor, hoping to catch a glimpse of Greg so that I could charge him with seizing control. I stopped every few seconds to hang a painting back on the wall, or scrape an embedded crisp off the carpet with my fingernails. How had crisps got up here? To the 2nd floor? The noise was getting worse. My house sounded like a packed football stadium. Over the general din, I heard Max howl, "Mummy! Rufus is breaking my toys!" The doorbell rang. Michelle the nail woman, I thought. Getting to the front door was out of the question. I was too far away, and my son was still screaming. Magical Steve would have to let her in. The rest of the party was a blur. I tried not to notice anything that happened, but a few highlights stood out, hard to miss. Greg running past me, carrying a girl who was threatening to be sick under his arm, yelling, "This will end, won't it? One day." A precocious girl called Arabella Hemming-Newman, whose name I did remember, sidling up to me as I wiped chocolate smears off the dining room wall and saying, "Your house cost £1,150. Shocked, I asked if Greg had told her that. "No," she said. "Mummy looked it up on nethouseprices.com. Another girl asked why I'd arranged a magician for the boys and a beautician for the girls. "I like magic, and I'm a girl," she said. I explained that Max had insisted. The girls had demanded professional nail action, or else they wouldn't come to the party. Not this girl, apparently. She listened, nodding, then said, "When I told my mummy, she said you're a throwback. What's a throwback?" At 6:10, I started to carve up the cake, throwing pieces wrapped in napkins into goodie bags. Parents began to ring the doorbell again. When they asked if I knew where their particular child was, I forced myself not to say, "Oh, just take any. There are no individuals here. They've merged to form a rabble." 2 mothers contrived to devise a particularly exquisite form of torture. They left with their